doggy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Youngstown Stock Channel. It is Luke, Isaac, Joe, MLO Bros, Youngstown Studio teaming up. We are live in downtown Youngstown right now with Mr. Eric Ungaro.
What's going on,
Thanks
guys?
for joining us, man.
I'm sharing our stuff. Sorry, I'm sharing my stuff.
Luke is sharing right now, but are we, boys, what are we talking about today? We primarily covering Poland stuff. What's the game plan?
We could go all over, Eric said, right?
Football, I grew up in Youngstown. My dad was mayor for years. So I was kind of thrust into having to be in politics and understanding agendas and games and schemes and everything.
For those that don't know, what was your dad? What was your dad exactly?
He was mayor of Youngstown from 84 to 98.
Okay.
That's a run. Yeah. That's what I like. Me growing up, I remember his, like, in my head, when I think mayor of Youngstown, I think your dad, because that was when
74 to 88.
No,
84
to 88
to 98
to 98.
Okay,
so that's who I think of.
That's a long time.
So he covered a span, and I think the thing was different back then. The three news channels were huge.
Yeah,
and the Vindicator was legit.
Yes.
Now, I mean, obviously they've merged. You got the Tribune and the Vindy are kind of, but I mean, like, you did something back then, it was in the Vindicator, and they probably delivered to every household.
Right.
So it was easier. The popularity was there just based on, every night you're on 21, 27, or 33, or you're on the front page of the Vindicator. So, and it was a brutal time. I mean, it was kind of a resurrection of Youngstown, because really, if you go back to 84, we lost the mills. It was huge, depressed area. Downtown, like, what was a disaster. It was just boarded up buildings. And then they kind of created the CIC. They got with the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Humphreys, my dad, and they kind of bought all the property. You can't develop property that's not bought. Yeah, that's not yours.
Well, who owned it then? Back, I mean, it would have been like,
they were just like BK'd like buildings. So like the Farmore building wasn't called the Farmore building. I don't know exactly what it was called, but the city broker deals bought all of them. Yeah, and then started developing them. And then really the huge kind of watershed moment was my dad was pretty close with Republican governors.
He was a Democrat, though,
and
right?
He was a Democrat. Yeah. Back then, this was 100% Democrat area.
Yeah, right.
So working with the Republican governor was like, I mean, that was like political suicide. But he did it, and they got the Voinovich Center down here. But then what they need, and this is like the backroom things, they needed like a tenant, like an anchor. Okay. So they brought the Bureau of Workmen's Comp down here. But the problem was it was housed out in Austintown. Okay. And they were paying, private entities rent. So then once you kind of pull that and come downtown, it just gets, it's
good to hear back in the day it was still like that too, with money and politics and all that crap.
And it was even like times 100 because, and then, America was going through the crack cocaine epidemic, the Bloods, the Crips. Right. Murders were 60, 70. We're a murder town, USA. Yeah. Still had 100,000 people in the city. Now you might have 50. Wow. So, it's really, but that's kind of like just a flight of, just every city in essence is probably lots of people.
Did you live in Youngstown then? So
we lived on the north side.
And you went to Youngstown?
I went to public schools, and then I went to Ursuline. So I did graduate from Ursuline High School.
Okay. So you went to Ursuline, and now you live in Poland.
Yep. Moved to Poland in 2000.
Cut your grass like every day.
Yeah,
dude, I love cutting grass. Dude, don't dog him.
No, I'm not dogging him. But he's
instant
out there.
Gratification.
I drive down 170. I see him. He's just cutting his grass. I'll honk. He went, hey! Like, how many people honk at you? He push mows it.
He push it?
How many people honk at you when you cut the grass? Man. And he's slow, straight lines.
Dude, there's straight lines. The instant gratification and the calming. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna cut the grass. My wife's not gonna bother me. I'm in my zone. I'm just making lines, cleaning up, thinking about my life, what I need to do. And I'm there, man. I love it.
How many people honk at you when you drive? That's got to be a million.
That's a great street. I mean, it's put on an Ungaro for something shirt, cut the grass.
Yeah, dude, it's so fun. But it's every day. It's a lot. It's a lot. He cuts the grass a lot.
But, if you push it, if you get behind, man, you're shot.
Right.
Like, it's not like you just get on a tractor and blow it all over. Like, if you get 1 or 2 days off. Yeah, I mean, it's high. And
I agree. I agree.
In the spring, yeah.
See, my yard's big enough. I have a riding lawnmower because I have like a bigger yard, and I go so slow. and I go straight lines. And the only reason I do it is because I don't want to go outside.
I like vacuuming too. So there's something that said, I don't know what brain it is. I'm not a psychologist, but like, getting stuff done.
I'm telling you, man, it's the stripes in the carpet too. It's the same type of deal. It's like instant gratification.
Joe, hold on, Joe. I know you're sitting over there comfy. I have to ask you a question. Do you cut your grass? You don't cut it? You pay somebody to do it?
Why not? Why don't you cut your grass?
He's so busy though. Like, let's be honest. Do you ever sweep your floor? Vacuum? I just picture Joe for some reason. I don't know if you know Joe. It is going to be the straightest line. It's going to be meticulous. I can see like protractor, like laying like rope down to make sure your lines are exactly straight.
The 0-turn bad boy with the striping kit, baby. 5 acres. It's just golf course. Just golf course lines. I'm drinking just drinking, not even a beer, just soda. Maybe throw in some nicotiners, a little pouch, and just freaking line some stripes up, baby. There's nothing more cool. I got an hour at least outside. No wife telling me what to do, just in my own head, just to listen to some music.
I agree.
It's all organized, man. I mean, he helped me when I ran. We'll get into that later.
He is something.
He's no joke.
Yeah, he is. Joe. Joe is no joke.
He's legit.
So I had a question for you. So Youngstown now.
Yep.
Versus Youngstown then.
Okay.
Like, you have a unique perspective because, like I said, your dad was the mayor of Youngstown, right? Now you see what's going on now. We are very critical of the mayor.
Okay.
And we are very critical of some of the decisions that council has made, as I think a lot of people are.
Yes.
I mean, how do you compare it? Like in your head?
Tito, let's get the record straight. I'm close to Tito.
Okay. Yeah. And that's good.
Forget politics aside.
Right.
He treated my father great, when he passed.
Okay.
And I've grown up with him. He was younger, but I've known him. I know guys on his cabinet, know the councilmen, a lot of the policemen. So, now outside of that, it's a horrible job. Like, I'm just being honest.
No, be honest. Be honest. We don't know. We don't know.
Right.
It's like you're talking about, and the times are so brutal, man.
Okay.
Like I just told you, back then, there was like real shit being reported. Vindicator. Right. Like you had to go do some exploratory stuff, write a story, and show some. Now, guys just throw anything out there. I'm being honest. Like I give you guys credit
100%.
because you can be a part of the problem, but really you're not. You pick and choose your stuff, and it's usually real stuff with some facts. But let's face it, there's not a lot of that going on anymore.
Right.
And it, and like him or hate him, it started with the presidency.
Right.
And it started with fake news, all this stuff.
Right.
And it's even if it's true, you could say it's fake, and even if it's fake, you can say it's true. And that's not a knock on him or any party or whatever.
Right.
It's just the dynamics. So I mean, like I'm not enmeshed enough to know like the decisions you make. Like people downtown. Oh, we did everything at once. Well, it's done. I mean, but I knew, like, I know the people at the Avalon, I know West 34.
Right.
People weren't happy. They were going through some times. But I think all in all, Tito's done a good job. Just, can you do better? Yeah, we could all do better. Right. So I don't know it enough to be critical.
What would his critiques of today be like looking forward?
I mean, like towards the end when he, I had a brother that overdosed in 2012 and he kind of just, he went downhill from there. So his perspective changed a little bit. I think what disappointed him the most is the Democrat Party really changed. They were the first to kind of go radical.
Right.
And then, because let's face it, and I tell people all the time, there ain't nobody who was supporting Trump when there was 15 guys up on stage. Right. I don't care what they, and I got a lot of Republican friends.
Right.
They were not like, Trump's my guy. And the Republican Party was still pretty conservative, who they were. You had Bush, you had Rubio, you had Cruz. Right. Well, then what happened? Trump kind of went postal, and it worked. Yeah. I mean, it worked. So he got he got like me. He got just kind of like disinterested in both parties' platforms
because of the way they went.
It went. And in this day and age now, if you go back 20 years, you are better off being a left-leaning moderate, which is what I probably
20 years ago. Right. Yeah.
Now you're better off being a right-leaning moderate.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, and the majority of us are moderates.
Yeah.
But the problem is the fringe runs the parties.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I sit around every day with diehard Democrat friends.
Right.
There ain't nobody saying they want a dude swimming with a girl.
Right.
I've never heard it. I've never heard one like really liberal person go, open the borders.
Yeah.
But you get painted with that. I ran for an election. They called me the woke mob. You're teaching our kids. You're indoctrinating. I'm like, I'm a special ed teacher, dude. I'm getting credit recovery. I'm getting kids jobs.
Well, here's the problem is, and this is going back to the Vindicator, going back to the news media. Those things get clicks.
Yes.
Those things get attention. So all you think of when you think of the right and you think of the left are those extreme things because the media will say, hey, this on the right, or hey, and it's this inflammatory stuff. So they get both sides looking at it.
The labels too.
Right. Exactly.
You label your enemy one way so that all of these people immediately cancel that person out.
And right now the Republican Party is winning because the percent of things that they label liberals with, 99% of America is against those things.
Right.
They're not for, kitty litter or
right.
I mean, let's face it. It's too much. It's too extreme.
Yeah.
So they're kind of they've painted that brush.
Right.
We're for the cops. All my Democrat friends are too.
Right.
Just like my Republican friends.
Right.
But what do you portray it as?
So then my theory always has been that Trump won. Trump won because people in general, like you said, the people in the middle, which is most of America, were tired of the strong left and strong right. And he says, we're going to blow this thing up. Right. I'm going to, for all of it. And let's ignore both extreme sides.
And make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this and I'll stick to it.
Yep.
He was an 0-10 football team.
Right.
He played in the Super Bowl against an 0-10 Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And then he played in his second Super Bowl against a 1-9 Biden.
Yeah.
Lost. And even if he cheated,
okay,
let's just say
he
cheated.
Yeah.
It's still millions and millions of votes. He didn't not every human being. Okay. So then now what you do? You ran against an 0-10.
Yeah. What's
yeah. So he didn't beat like John F. Kennedy,
right?
Or Bill Clinton, or funny. Obama.
That's a great. I'm totally stealing that. That's a great comparison.
So that is an argument that the Dems, both sides, need to do a better job. Like the Dems need to do a better job, get away from all the crazy stuff, and get a down to earth, somewhat a little bit left, like moderate person. That person will win.
But the problem is the second, even on either side, the second that person leans a little bit the other direction, they get freaking annihilated. Like even Schumer, or whatever his name is, he got killed. Killed.
And I'm not bashing. I don't want to bash the left completely because there are some crazy things that the Trumpers do that's just too much too. And it's like, insane. I don't want to be a part of that either. And I hate that label, right? If you don't choose a side, you get labeled one way or the other. And it's like, that's not what the average American is about.
Well,
no, we're all somewhere in the middle, and we're almost all of us are able to say, okay, that's too crazy right, and that's too crazy left. I don't think Trump is the second coming. Like,
but the second, Eric, we say anything either direction. So if
you get killed.
Oh, yeah, you get crushed.
Isaac and I have literally been called woke, Nazi, snowflake, in the same day from different people because we post on different stuff.
You're so obviously left, or you're so obviously right. Just admit it. You guys are snowflakes or whatever.
What happened in America.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the majority of my friends. I mean, I had to be political because I was born in.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of my friends, the majority of your friends are not political.
No.
But what happened? Once Trump won, COVID hit. Internet became more powerful. So now everybody became an expert on politics.
Right.
Everybody became an expert on the border. Everybody became an expert on the economy or who's doing what.
Right.
And then it just went. It went viral. So I think again, the 0-10 is my comparison.
That's a great.
And let me tell you something. The Democrat Party. When I talked about my dad getting disinterested in it. They anointed Hillary.
Yeah.
They should have had a primary.
Yep.
Because Hillary would not have won.
Yeah.
And if Joe Biden would have won back then, he would have beat Trump. Because he would have been 20 years younger. Oh,
yeah.
And he was considered a moderate.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends voted against Hillary Clinton.
Really? Because it was Hillary Clinton.
So then, the Biden, obviously what it was a close election. And then the second time, like Biden, after he won, he should have just said, I'm a one-termer. I'm gonna right the ship a little bit.
Right.
Let's have a primary.
Right.
But then it just I just can't believe that. With all the money that these parties have, that they actually let him go out that way.
Right.
Hey, he was a great guy, had a great run.
Yeah.
Just a one term, have a primary, let someone else
run. It was pretty obvious that he was losing it up here. You just look at him and then, you're just yeah.
And then you deny that. They constantly deny that.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
And then it's just
so they made it easy. So I guess in the end of the day, it was a bunch of bad football teams playing in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Not like on like a flag football game like Poland.
Right.
Like this is the Super Bowl.
Right.
And it just got that way. And then it's just too hard to be an independent.
I feel like that the left too, one of the things that they do that I really can't stand is when they have a candidate that the people seem to like and the party itself doesn't agree with them, they start to find ways to finagle the system to cancel that person. Like Bernie, they did it with Bernie. Who else on the left did they do that to? They completely canceled Bernie, and then they just ran all the campaigns.
Cruz,
anybody that they don't like.
It goes both ways.
They didn't do that. The right didn't do that to Trump, though. They kind of okay, he's gaining some people, he's gaining a crowd, and then they kind of just let him go. If he's going to be this big, let's let him win. But the left will, if the party doesn't agree with what the Dems agree with, they will cancel that person.
100%.
Like Bernie oh my gosh, who was the other one?
They're scared. They're scared.
Schumer,
they're scared of Trump.
Yeah,
because he lucked out. He ran some candidates in governor's races and things like that, like Vance.
Mm-hmm.
And he won. Mm-hmm. So now, you're not going to go against him. He's a sitting president.
Yeah. We got some comments here. So
RFK
we got
too. RFK was them.
Kellen says, I like RFK Jr. and so did a lot of people. I know once RFK became associated with Trump, those same people started calling me.
Yeah, they labeled him insane. So they labeled him insane. He's historically a Dem. The same type of things. He doesn't agree with us enough. So out. Gone.
Yeah, Fetterman.
Same thing.
Fetterman got getting roasted for not playing.
They destroy their own people, and that is it implodes their team. They have no.
Let me tell you something. Gerrymandering on both sides.
Yeah, that's a big
has destroyed America.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I know it says there's a difference between liberal and woke.
Right.
Most Democrat districts are inner cities. You're not winning if you're a moderate or if you're conservative. Most Republican districts are rural, white, suburban.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go there and talk about anything liberal.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about carry your gun.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
God,
why are we talking about anything else like that? Right.
Just throw out buzzwords. God. Guns.
Yeah.
Really.
God,
they don't even know what any of it means.
Right.
This shit works.
Yeah.
It works because you're appealing to your voter base. There's not any moderate districts anywhere in America, especially in Ohio.
Right.
In Ohio.
The gerrymandering, if you look at the districts for everything, is
crazy.
So insane. Do you ever look at the map? It's how they cut down the river and then.
But both parties protect their turf.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all it is. It's not one or the other.
Right.
Now, obviously, the Republicans have control in
which is
the state. So you got the guy with the gold rules. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, because I know the Democrats were complaining about Jerry. Well, did they pass a bill or something like that?
That's when I ran. They changed the district. They didn't change the district.
Right.
They kind of changed the district. Then they went back to a district. Then it was unconstitutional.
Right. Yeah, it's all that stuff. But it's whoever's in power is the one who ends up doing it. Right?
And whatever state reps and state senators start complaining to the governor. Hey, man, why are you doing this to my district? I don't want Warren in my district. I can't get any votes in Warren.
Right. As someone in politics, why can't it be just dumb average people question here? Why can't it just be a set in stone? Hey, the parties aren't going to pull the different districts apart and just, hey, it's set in stone. This belongs here, and we just duke it out
because they want to stay in power.
It's all control.
Yeah, it's because they want to stay in power.
Yeah, I don't understand why it has to be why can't we just set it up and then it's this forever?
You're talking about billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, they have money,
control over everything. Where funding goes.
It's gross.
I agree, and I challenged the system, and I lost.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I know you ran as an independent.
Yep.
For what? What was it for?
State reps.
For state reps. So who's there now? State rep.
Miss McNally.
McNally, who's actually coming on Friday.
Yeah,
she's coming on Friday.
Family, good, good history, good family, good husband. I've known him forever.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with them.
Yeah. Now you ran as an independent.
And I think the thing is, I ran against the establishment, and maybe it's mentally, you know, I had to go to counseling over it, you know, to kind of get.
Did you really?
Like I hate everybody type, you know. Thing.
I didn't go. Both of us need to go to counseling.
But I mean,
hey, after we're done, give us a number.
Yeah,
we're gonna call. We're gonna call. We need a number.
But so, you know, but what I didn't realize is, I mean, obviously, I got thrown off the ballot.
Yeah.
I had to go to the Supreme Court. I had to spend a lot of money to get put back on the ballot.
Why did you get what was their excuse? I remember this because we covered
a lifelong down.
Oh, so and they challenged you being a down.
But then this other dude, so what ended up happening is I had a good shot to win.
Yeah.
Not saying that like cocky because I lost.
Yeah. Right.
But they put another gentleman in the race.
The Dems
the Republicans did. A white male, Greg Bite. No one ever heard of him. Never did anything.
Just to pull votes for you.
It's just a name from Springfield. You know, and then Ruley endorsed him, and then you know they put him on the Republican slate, and so I really won every precinct outside of the city.
Yeah,
and you know, lost, came up short.
What was it? Do you remember what it was?
I think I lost by maybe 800 votes.
It was close.
Yeah. And that's running as an independent.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when they put that guy on there, it pulled votes away from him.
Do you feel like that was as an independent, do you think now I know you said they tried to pull your name off the ballot and then you had to put it back on there, but do you feel as though it was like targeting you because you were an independent from both sides? Both teams were kind of coming after you. What are some other examples of like that?
100%.
Because that's so wrong.
Just all of a sudden throwing white male from Springfield on there. So let's just use, for example, you know, I don't know, say I get 75% of the vote if I run for trustee, nonpartisan race.
Right.
I got 68% of the vote. Wow. In that race.
Yeah.
And when you lose by 2 percentage points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. You go to like, say the city of Youngstown. I got like, say 40% of the vote, which was great as an independent running there. You know, I haven't been in the city for years, but he got like 4%.
Right. Wow.
You go to South Range.
So he pulls it out.
I go to South Range and get, you know, 48%. He gets 10%.
Still
pulling from you.
So I believe it was calculated. It's probably the best thing that happened. Who knows? I would be in Columbus. It's a goofy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're an independent. Does the state really want an independent down there taking up both party system?
Heck no. Well, remember this. This is when we got into it with Beatrice.
Right.
Because Beatrice was in charge of the Board of Elections.
Threw me off. Yeah.
Oh, and they remember that video? And he was like telling the old lady that was on the Board of Elections how, like, literally we had a video of him saying, we agreed you were going to vote like this.
What it ultimately boils down to, and one of the problems in America as a whole, is the divide, right? You have that political divide. But the problem is the cure to it is independence. But the Dems and the Republicans, once they have a common enemy, which is the people in the middle, which is independent candidates, they're going to team up and say, they are threatening to both of us. Let's destroy
100%.
And that is so bad for America, but it happens all the time. And the system's basically rigged now. There will never be an independent president ever.
You have not at that level.
Which is so messed up.
You do have independent. You currently have an independent in one of the wards. This is the 7th ward. Amber White is independent.
Local politics is different, though. You can run for commissioner.
Yeah,
you can run for council because you're not talking about abortion,
right? You're not care about good people.
You're not getting into the
the things that matter. You're just talking about, hey, man, do a good. I mean, that's why trustee races are nonpartisan.
Yeah,
because that has nothing to do with your party.
Yeah,
it's what have you done in your community? What's your background and things
like that. Judges are Republican and Democrat, though.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's supposed to. For example, during that race, Mark Hanai. Whose dad was the late Don Hanai during my dad's time.
Yeah.
Democrat Party chairman for years. Mark ran about, I don't know, X amount of times as a Democrat, lost. Changes to an R.
Yeah.
Finds a district that encompasses Columbia. And he wins.
Crazy.
And then look what happened in Trumbull County.
Yeah. Same.
You know, I mean, even in Mahoney County. I mean, you had people didn't spend $1.
Sweeping red. Yeah.
And lost by, I think Chacon lost to Traffic Candy by like 1,000 votes.
Right.
And didn't spend $1.
Right.
Like it's just, but then it starts at the top of the ticket.
Yeah.
You went in there, you were either voting for Trump or Harris, and then you just went down just went down the ticket.
See, which is sad.
I don't do that. I
no, you can't. You never do that.
Yeah.
That's how what's her name up in Trumbull got it.
It's brutal now.
Nikki got in because that's what
what happened.
She ran at the same time as Trump, and then everybody was just boom.
Can I admit something? I miss her so much.
It was such good content.
It was
so good content.
I miss her so much because she would talk about us sometimes and just like she'd be like, "Those stupid all over," and it's just like, "Oh God!"
With that video, did you see that video we made in Luke's backyard?
Yeah,
good shit.
I mean, that's the thing. It's
that was the best video we've ever done.
So much fun.
That's what it's become right now. Like you could get elected by just
hopping on it,
throwing something out there. Like I say, God, crazy. Guns, and country.
Right.
What have you ever done? Nothing. Have you ever been like any charitable work?
Right.
No, nothing. But I'm for God, guns, and country.
Yeah,
or if you're in the in a liberal area, you say what you want to say.
Yeah. You gonna run again for something like that?
Listen, it beats you down, man.
Does it really?
I mean, it beats you down financially. And that was probably the biggest thing because I got thrown off the ballot.
So you had to.
So I had to wait a month to even see if the Supreme Court ruled for me.
Right.
Then you put in there, hey, my legal fees will get paid. Then I got a high-powered attorney out of Cleveland.
Yeah. Right.
That's a big bill. And then now you're only down to like 3 weeks to raise
money.
So
they almost like do that just to stall you, right?
And then I couldn't
just
raise
to spin your wheels.
I couldn't raise money.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then, you're using your own money because then you're like, well, if I win, then I could have a fundraiser, get back, right. And then you lose. So
it's just a tactic. That's crazy.
It's now I'm just really involved with the mental health board.
Yeah.
I love being a trustee. I mean, because it's like real.
Yeah.
You're helping people with real problems.
Right. Right.
Yeah. You call. Our lights out. You try to get it fixed.
I literally call them all the time. Text them all the time about my lights being out in my road.
Did they ever get back on?
I don't know. I gotta look.
I know the one time they did.
They did,
Round two.
Yeah, well,
I think he walks around.
But now he's a family member that lives close in my development back there. So now I know.
You just know. Ungaro checks his phone. He sees your text. God damn.
There's another light. It's the pole down on. I'm like, come on, man. The street's like huge. Like, if it doesn't go on, he's like, you didn't do anything.
But the other thing that's happening now too is because people know I know Eric. They won't call him. I'll get a text and be like, hey.
Oh, that happened up on Hubbard Road.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, say this happened. I'm like, all right, I'll just start to Eric. Somebody needs it. I was like, my God, I'm working for the freaking township.
We tried to help them. I mean, we got that in process up there. They want some gas lines.
Yeah, the gas lines. That was it. It was the gas lines.
And the problem is, you're dealing with private companies. I mean, they're not doing anything if they don't make money.
Yeah, there was actually we had a question about.
So what's happening? What's happening in the township then? I guess.
So we'll tell him. I don't think we went over that. He's a Poland Township Trustee. Did we?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then I moved here in Poland in 2000, and I got involved with the schools. I mean, I've been a teacher, special ed teacher for years, and football coach. So I got involved with the schools early on with Paul McFadden. We tried to help with some levies, and levies are like banging your head against the wall, especially when it comes to schools.
Yeah,
even
especially
in good communities. Now. I mean, but it was really no better back then. But I saw a big divide between some of the school board members and the trustees.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm living here, man.
Right.
I don't this isn't what I envisioned. I moved to a good community. I want everybody.
When was this again? What year?
This was this time it was about 2010.
Okay.
So then I decided to run for trustee.
All right.
And again, it was taking on the establishment. It isn't like now. I mean, it was, people
taking on the establishment in Poland Township.
Yeah, but before we got here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a tight knit group. Man.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're telling us.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's still a little bit like that.
I think it's getting better. Getting better.
But, you go into the schools. I mean, they got their niches, and our wives are both in the school.
Yep.
So I ran, and everyone's like, "You're going to get killed." DeVito was there for like 12 years. Chief Safara ran.
Okay.
He was a long time guy. I mean, these guys were born and raised.
Right.
And the only thing I kind of felt was, you know what? A lot of my boys from Camel moved here, brothers. I had like the Greek.
You get the Greek vote in Poland Township. The Greek,
And then I grew up with guys like Jimmy Timko and Latanzio and Ratuno moved here from like Lowville. So Genova moved from Struthers. So we had, guys that I was like, they got a little bit of political, not political, but
they know people.
Right. Know kids people. Are kind of growing, you know how it is. And so we won pretty, pretty good. And I didn't have an agenda. I came in, I was fortunate. I had Mr. Charvelli as a administrator. He was a great guy, because really you only have two positions that you could appoint: police chief or administrator. Right. And Chief Gooden was there. I had a great relationship with him. So it wasn't like I ran on like, I want to get rid of them, bring the broom in, clean the swamp. Stupid terms that don't mean anything.
Right.
So that was it. So then, I've been a trustee ever since, and we've done a lot of, all our roads are paved. Yeah. I think our police department is fully staffed now.
How's my sidewalk?
Sidewalk. We got the project.
My sidewalk.
What do you want to run a sidewalk from so people know?
Okay, so this isn't just me.
No, this is a lot of
people. A lot of people. Yeah. So the sidewalk runs from the village down 170.
Yes.
To the corner of
by the school.
Dobbins. Or whatever that is, right?
That's Dobbins.
Stops.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to run I think it should keep going down 170.
How far?
To the Polos was my suggestion. So past my development, hits past Spittler, so you can hit that, because in that way you would hit Burgess Manor, you would hit.
Do you want to go all the way down to where that little corner store is?
That's probably a little far. I'd say the Polos, which is right. The Polos before you get to the corner store, they're on the left.
Yeah.
So you go straight down that way to that, because then that way you'd have kids would be able to hit Four Seasons, come across, hit the sidewalk.
I like it.
My development. Yeah, Burgess, because there's a lot of people there.
Right.
So I was pushing for it, and then a kid. Did you hear about
the kid got hit on the bike?
Kid got hit on the bike, and I was like, okay,
that was on Spittler, right?
That was on no. That was on 170.
It's right. He got right by the bridge.
Right by the bridge there. Yeah. He got hit, knocked into the thing. Nobody stopped. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Now we got to freaking do something, because it's like
we got to study.
Okay, so they got to study.
And the thing is, like I told Luke, it's a process. Like even the sidewalk from the village all the way up, it took years. When I first got elected, I think they got denied like 3 times. Yeah. And then we reapplied and we got it. So we got the study done. Right. So now the next round is to put in for funding. Okay. To go as high as we can get.
Right. Obviously.
So if it's 400,000 and it only goes to Burgess, then that's where it's at.
Yeah, that's what you got to
do for the next.
So something's better than nothing.
Yeah,
something.
I agree.
You just got to get over that bridge, man.
That's the problem.
You got to get over that bridge.
And it's wide enough. Like we were looking, like it's wide enough, and there's not a lot of houses you'd be stripping land from to do it.
No.
Right.
Like it's
there was
makes
one
sense.
area that they said was a concern with you might have to get with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
Like that little area there. I mean, there are like governmental, and you're dealing with 170, so you're dealing with the state.
Right.
Like we said, Spittler, you're dealing with the county.
Yeah,
so it isn't just like, hey, throw a sidewalk.
It's not that easy, right? Hey, even if my kids are gone, by then, I would be happy with a sidewalk. Because you know what I'm saying? Just because, like, we should have sidewalks.
Right.
There's a lot of kids.
Yeah. Let's say my kids one day come over your house and hang out with Aunt Maggie. And they want to walk down to the.
You got farmland out there, huh?
There's no sidewalks.
I just have 5 acres. It's just
there's no sidewalks.
It's the other interesting thing about
I live across from a cornfield.
Politics now. With you get into rural America, I was a big door-to-door guy.
Yeah, you're not walking.
Shake hands, you ain't doing that.
You're not trick-or-treating in your neighborhood.
You have money to send mailers.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing out in the rural areas that they do. They get their mail.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're not
knocking on the door. Hey, American, Garrett, take you a half hour to walk from the street to their house.
My neighbor's out shooting every night.
Yeah, our dad ran for school board when I was in school, and we literally were stuffing mailboxes. Greenford to North Line, every stop. You know what I mean? For hours, we were driving around. So
I get sick
because he didn't want to pay for stamps, obviously. So
did he win?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
He had a run for.
He was. We'd have to ask him.
I want to say he won, and then he took a break. He had 10 years. Then he took a break, and then he ran again when we were in school, because there's the 10 years between Leanna and Pat.
He was on the school board when we were there.
So that's interesting because so when did they go open enrollment?
After that.
14. No, I graduated in 12. They probably were like 14 to 16, somewhere in there is when they went to open enrollment. And now it's like 30% of the kids are open enrollment.
Everybody's like, South Ray. I'm like, man, you wouldn't even exist if you didn't have open enrollment.
Yeah, they were in financial problems. They had to go open enrollment for money because they weren't going to be able to support the new schools.
Because they built that school. Yeah,
they were not
good. What we talked about, though, too, they border good communities.
Yep.
Like,
correct. Yeah.
They're pulling. You're pulling a lot of people from Latonia. You're pulling a lot of people from
Boardman, Salem.
Pulling people from Boardman.
They pull from Canfield.
From Canfield. Yeah.
Any of those districts that butt you, go to that school.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's why, and I think Crestview had open enrollment for years, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they stop? I don't know.
No, I think they still have it.
I think all those schools.
But they're pulling. Crestview pulls from like East Palestine.
I mean,
my buddy teaches at East Palestine, coaches basketball. He's like, damn, Crestview keeps stealing all our kids.
I've been telling Lucas to open enroll to Lowville because I was like, dude, you go to Lowville, there's like 30 kids in class. You open enroll, you'll be a quarterback, you'll be a basketball player. I said, you'll be a president.
Absolutely.
I mean, those Italian girls are gonna love you down there because you're a tall guy. I was like, dude, why don't you? He's like, I'm not open enrolling to Low. I was like, you're missing an opportunity here.
You know what? That's what society is.
It is.
Right. I mean, there's kids that live in Canfield can't play.
Yeah.
They go to Western Reserve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They go to Jackson Miller.
True.
I mean, it's been going on for years, but traditionally it was just the Catholic schools that had
were pulling. Yeah.
Now with open enrollment,
right?
I mean, you can go anywhere.
Yeah. I'm just so disappointed. He won't transfer over there to Level.
Oh, Joseph has a good question. Joseph Midlick has a question. As an independent, do you think Derek McDowell has a chance?
You know Derek McDowell?
Oh, you talking about for mayor?
Yeah, we're back to there.
Sorry, we bounced back.
I mean, but again, like you go into the city, I mean, it's just all Democrat.
Right. So you think that'll pull? See, the thing about him though is
it doesn't matter.
People know that guy though because
he's running as
right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huge. I mean, you know what it's going to come down with those guys?
Yeah.
Is debates.
Right.
Getting out there, talking.
Right.
What's your vision? Okay, you're running for mayor. What are you going to do? I mean, D has a track record.
Yeah.
So I commend guys that at least have done something.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of people just get involved in politics.
Don't do anything.
D or R next to their
right.
I would love to see them debate. The current mayor will never debate them.
No, I don't think Tito would back down.
Dude.
I don't think.
There's zero I will bet. I would love for him to see this interview and debate, but he won't do
it. All right.
Guarantee he won't do it.
BJ, can you mark this part and clip it? We're gonna send it to Tito saying, Tito, you won't debate Derek McDowell.
I think he will.
Oh, we're gonna see.
I would love to see it.
I mean, but now here's the thing. I'm not in Tito's camp.
Right.
What if Tito's winning by?
Then you don't debate. Then you don't debate, right? Because you can lose it.
Why do it?
Why do it?
It's only going to hurt you.
Why give D like any kind of exposure?
Right.
So there's a lot that goes into this. I mean, Tito knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if it's not even close,
why would you debate? Right.
I mean, and that's not just a Tito. Oh, there's Attorney Maruka. Hey, you ever need a good lawyer?
Oh God, yeah. Let's get his number.
Call Attorney Maruka. Hey, we're live right now. I said, if you ever need a good attorney, there's Attorney Maruka right there.
You got a card on you? Because I'll probably need one eventually.
Soon.
He's right upstairs.
It's only a matter of time, sir. It's only a matter of time.
Hey, see, there's an example.
Right.
I moved here. He moved here. You know, him and his wife at the time were, big supporters. They helped me.
Yeah.
So it was like, you had to get outside of that good old boy circle.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, you think that's where all the popularity is.
Okay.
But then once you get out of it, you realize there's a lot of people out here, man, that got a lot of.
See, we got a call.
Yeah, we got a caller. Let's take that call.
Good morning.
What's up?
Just curious, Mr. Ungaro, have you heard anything more about the redistricting for in the state of Ohio coming up? Is it going to ever happen, or are we still going to be a gerrymandered state? That's the first question.
Yes, sir. The short answer, no. I mean, I got as much info as you. I don't know if I'm on the out. I don't even know if the insiders got an answer, but no. So I could not comment on that.
Okay, and one other thing, I don't know how many people have saw it yet. I saw it over the weekend for the first time. On HBO Max, the documentary Ohio Confidential. Have anybody there seen it yet?
Oh, no. Hey, how about I lived it, my man? I ran during that time when Householder sent all the money to our district. Is that what you're talking about? The nuclear?
Yeah. Well, when HB6, so at the new plant, it was unbelievable with the dark money and. It's amazing. It's amazing to see it. Some you guys, you haven't seen it yet. You gotta watch it
on HBO. You said?
Yeah, it's on Max on HBO. It's called Dark Money. There's two of them right now. One and two. One is called Ohio Confidential, and it's amazing. And basically, Neil Clark wrote a book and diagnosed and documented everything. And they found him dead in Florida. And then there was one whistleblower in Columbus that the FBI wired. He had morals that he didn't want to be part of it, so he went to the FBI, and that's how this whole thing brought everybody down.
We got to watch that. Okay, I'm gonna watch
HBO's docuseries.
I lived it
too. Yeah, you did.
So that's when, because now prior to running as an independent, I did run as a Democrat.
Okay.
And Householder at the time wanted. Well, go ahead, sir. Anything
else?
Yeah. Appreciate your call.
No, that's it. You guys got to watch it.
All right. I will. I'm going to do that as soon as I get home.
Thank you for the call, sir. Appreciate you.
So long story short, that race, it was myself and Don Manning were running.
I remember
Ruley
that.
was running.
Okay.
And at the last minute, Householder, they spent about $300,000. It just blasted me, calling my dad a thug.
Right.
A thug.
Wow.
And out of 50,000 votes, I think I lost by 50 votes. And then as it turned out, all that came out, and that's where a lot of that money was funneled from the nuclear
thing. Wow.
I don't even know the whole story, but Householder got, it's real. I mean, he got
in trouble. I mean,
he's like in jail.
Yeah, he's in prison, right?
Country club or something. I mean, so
I have another question. Not to totally change the subject. This is about our neighbors up to the north.
Okay.
Why does the south side of Poland Township have full-time fire, full-time police, but the levy that was passed for the north end, also? So I think he's talking about the side on the other side of Lowville. For those of you at home, Poland is kind of like a square down here, and then you never notice it. It wraps up and around Lowville.
Up in the North Hills.
Yeah, up in the North Hills, what they call it. So the Hubbard station appears to still have just volunteer, and now a truck's missing. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know. We'd have to, give
talk to Chip
stock, but
yeah.
I know I haven't been on the fire board for about 4 years.
Okay.
But at the time, they were exploring getting full timers for the ambulances. So
that's been done, right?
So I don't. There's not at least from my recollection, there's not full time firemen. There's full-time EMS people.
That we know, right?
Yes.
Right.
So as far as a truck missing or, I don't know, maybe it's getting fixed.
Or getting water.
But I will tell you this, we've come a long way with our relations up there, especially with Chief Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, he goes up there. He has
the neighborhood watch stuff.
Because when I first got elected, I mean, it was, but then again, now you got GPSs. So it's like, I never see your cops. Well, then now you can go, hey, look.
He was there from this time to this time.
Like 4 hours.
Right.
It was 8 hour shift. But it goes back to that. Just say something.
Yeah.
Get X amount of people to believe it.
Yeah.
And then, it becomes the truth.
Jerry, call the fire department and talk to Comstock. I bet. I mean, Chip is very open. Very
on him.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, he's well renowned.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Chip will, the goat of
the goat. Chip would definitely answer that question for you. Like I said, he's on top of everything too.
Or even I think Dutton's up there. He's the sergeant or I don't want to minimize what he is, but he's a big shot there.
Yeah.
He's highly ranking. He could even answer, but
dude,
I don't know if I think an ambulance is up there with a couple full timers, but I'm not.
Like I said, all I know is the fire department is on top of it because Cameron, my 10-year-old, was making caramelized onions. Did I tell you the story? Caramelized onions. I was not paying attention. Okay. He can normally cook pretty good. On my laptop working, it just a room over. I look up, there is smoke.
Oh.
Okay. And it wasn't no fire, but he was just smoking these caramelized onions, right?
Yeah.
So fire alarm goes off. We have a security system. Yep. Fire alarm goes off.
Oh, there
I ran over, shut the alarm off. Okay. I didn't have my phone on me though. So they had called my phone and it was upstairs. So I ran upstairs. I missed the phone call. Okay. That fire department was at my house within 4 minutes
Yeah.
of that me not picking up my phone. 4 minutes. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm fine. And then a month later, we did it again.
Oh no.
with brownies.
Oh, no.
With brownies.
What, is he just not watching when he's baking?
No, that was actually Jameson set that one. Our hockey player from the Phantoms actually did that one.
He lives with you guys?
He lives with us. Yeah, they have a final game tonight. If they lose, Jameson's going to be back in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a 19-year-old. He's been playing hockey since like he was 5. He's been there since October.
Glasgow's had somebody years ago.
Yeah,
like that's when it first started.
Kelsey Morton, who runs the Phantoms down there. Yep. She actually, there was I got tickets, and she's like, "Why don't you think about doing this?" And they needed somebody this year. I was like, "Sure." So why not 3 boys? Let's add a 19-year-old hockey player too to the mix. So it's been great. It's been a good experience. But like I said, he was actually making brownies for everybody, and there was something on the bottom of the stove.
Oh no!
That had dripped. So then I wasn't home for that. I was playing basketball. My phone rang again. Nobody there. Fire department come. Just like, oh my god!
So, but they are.
But they're there. It's good.
You get charged for anything like for that?
I don't think so.
They just come out.
No, but the fire department, like the second time I get Chip text me, he's like, "Hey, got problems over there?"
Idiot.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, they do. Chip does a great job.
Yeah.
All the volunteers, unbelievable.
Yep.
And again, going back to 2012 when we first started, we built a fire station on 170.
Yep.
Come a long way.
Oh yeah.
Millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure, equipment.
Yeah. And then talk about Chief Wilson too. Chief Wilson's my dude, man. He is.
I've been a defensive coordinator 30 years, and I'm just one of them guys. Like, hey, get good guys around.
Yep.
Like you get good players, you're going to win.
Yeah.
And I was so fortunate to inherit Chief Gooden.
Yeah.
He was solid, and then Greg has just been top notch.
Yeah.
He's
what I love about Greg is he has done so much to get out into the community. Like the Facebook pages, the posts, the neighborhood watch, he does like coffee with the cops. Yep. He does all this stuff. Pogo the dog. I think that was.
We're getting another dog too.
Are we really?
Interview
that dog.
It's coming.
Joe, what do you think about a dog in your? It's a police dog.
Dogs on the table too.
On the table.
And
on the couch.
And our community is supportive of that.
Yeah.
That guys like Simon and Galladay. These guys give food. They buy. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right.
But you know what? And it was too like unless you're on the end and like see the inner workings. Like Gooden had to manage guys that were, older, had some time in.
Right.
Like Chief's doing a great job. Like we've had a big.
We got a bunch of 20-year-olds and young 30-year-olds.
Guys get pulled over. They're like, who is this dude? I never seen him. They've been pulling forever. I go, them days are gone.
Now. You got a bunch of young guys.
Guys are like RoboCop, man.
What's Pogo? What's that? Pogo. I forget his name.
There's another young one.
Ethan. Dude, he was
a couple of them lifted my gym.
Dude, Ethan was in the Y. I was lifted in the Y. And Ethan was lifted. Dude, he makes us
big boy. Big boy.
He does. And the other guy too.
The other dude is like, there's one that's like 6'8" or something.
He played at YSU.
Yeah,
dude,
monster.
Big. Yeah.
So I mean, they've been fortunate, and you're right. Greg has ran with it. He's managed these young guys great. We got great sergeants. You got Hanley, you got McCray, and Jackson. So those guys are kind of like our veteran guys.
Yep.
And really, we've had all our retirees the last 16 years. So now I think really outside of Hanley, he has some time and he could potentially retire. Most of those guys will be here for at least another 10 years.
Oh, that's no doubt. And then also with Poland. So do we have any levies or anything coming up?
No, here's one thing too, where we lucked out. And this was, the forefathers, forefathers, like 1800s, but like 1980.
The forefathers in 1980. Our forefathers of Poland Township in 1980.
I go down to this Jim and Struthers. This dude's like, I'm aching. I'm getting old. I'm like, you ain't old. He's like, when'd you graduate? He's like, 94. I'm like, man, I was 88. I mean, like, how do you think I feel?
Right.
But so we have the landfill out in Poland.
Right.
And that landfill generates a lot of money. Like if you pull up your taxes for Poland Township, any district, it's the schools. It's just the way the state has it.
Right.
So your 50 to 60% goes to your schools.
From the taxes.
From your, whatever your property.
Right.
Ours is probably about only 10%. I mean,
go to the school?
Go to the township.
Go to the township.
But we've been able, and we have a full-time police department that's unionized.
Right.
You go to Canfield, they just got a deputy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they don't have a police department.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you know that they have a
Now
police
the
chief?
city has.
Okay, the city
has.
We're talking about. Oh, we're talking about Canfield Township.
Yeah.
Just has the sheriff. We have
Just
as a
has the
township.
sheriff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we got 15, 16 guys fully staffed.
Yeah.
2 a shift.
Yeah.
A chief, and we've been able to keep taxes low because we have the landfill.
Tell us about the landfill. So I know the landfill, but how do you get money off of them?
Tipping fees. So there was a contract that was signed again years ago in the 80s.
Forefathers.
And township gets money. County gets money. That's where the green team comes from. That's why you're able to get free curbside pickup.
Okay.
And the state gets a whole bunch of money
from the landfill.
Wow. But now they're bringing in garbage from New York, from all over. But that was part of the deal that they set up.
Right.
So that's where we've been fortunate. But really, Poland Township.
I don't even realize that.
Well, where they play soccer. Yeah, that was all paid for that was all done through when they gave the land over. They did the land.
Yeah,
wasn't that part of the agreement, right?
I guess there's you can buy plots of land out there too, and nobody wants to buy them because of the stinking landfill. But
plots of land,
there's 5-acre plots out that way by the landfill. Yeah,
dude, I'm not gonna lie. That wind blows the right direction. Sometime in the morning, you get a little whiff of that landfill, just a little bit.
I think twice a month they burn off the methane.
Yeah,
so it could be 4 or 5 in the morning. And you're like, oh, something.
Yeah, I get that smell just a little bit, but we're used to it though. Were you old enough for the mushroom farm?
Yeah,
in North Lima when it would smell.
Yeah,
we lived in North Lima and they had the mushroom farm. It closed since then, but man, they would turn that thing over and you wake up, you're like, oh my god, what is that? So I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But so that's where we've been fortunate in Poland, to keep taxes low. So I don't know, the levy really it's just usually school. The police thing was anonymity.
Anomaly. Oh, wait, Joe.
I have no idea what you guys are talking
about. Anomaly. Go to Joe.
I could not think of the word you guys were trying to plug in there.
Don't ask me how to spell it.
And what he's talking about was there was a police levy that was sort of a renewal. The state made you reword it and redo it because of the wording. It didn't look like a new. It looked like a new levy, and it got turned down.
Yeah, and it was, they came in, it wasn't just Poland Township, but they went to, I think, 30 or 40 townships in the state. They got rid of, we had it under as a police levy.
That was it, right?
But we weren't a police district back then. So they said, this doesn't count. It has to go away. And then there was another levy that happened in the 70s that was going to end up falling under the same guidelines. Mm-hmm. We contacted the prosecutor in the state. So we're like, all right, let's just combine these two. We can call it a police levy now because we actually are a police district. So raise no more money or less money.
Right.
But what happened was we didn't collect the money for a year. So, you're kind of backwards.
Because it failed. Then once you got the word out.
And it was on the ballot when everything failed.
Yeah. The school.
Levies have become almost like politics. I'm voting no. You don't even know what you're voting no on.
I am worried.
It could be like, hey, this is for my grandma or something. No,
I know people say, oh, renewals always pass. I'm worried about renewals right now in my head.
Oh, school renewals aren't safe.
You think? Yeah, they're not safe. I don't think they are at all.
I've been in education for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I don't think they're safe.
Now they're going to start putting R&D on the ballot for school board. Right now, school board's nonpartisan.
Are they really?
That's the talk.
So annoying.
So what's going to happen now? You go out to South Range, Poland, you ain't got a shot.
Yeah, right.
You got to just lie and say you're a Republican, even if you are.
Right, just to get in there. Right.
It goes back to what I said. And I ain't saying I'm right, but you're cooler being a moderate Republican than a moderate Democrat. Right now, in this atmosphere.
In this atmosphere right now, it might change 4 years from now, though. In all reality,
man, but you need some candidates. It's not just gonna happen.
Right.
You got to have some good candidates.
Well, they talk about that AOC running against. Did you see that?
She got no prayer. She got no prayer. This is the problem. It's in her district.
Yeah.
It's 100% Democrat. So she can act any way she wants.
Nobody cares. Right.
No one cares because she's never losing.
Right.
I feel like in Poland and South Range too, you have a lot of residents are fixed income. I feel like a larger portion
Definitely
of
in
the
Poland.
population, especially in Poland, are empty nesters who are refusing to sell to kids my age,
100%,
and that are starting families. So you have fixed incomes, and they refuse to add. They don't care. They don't want it to impact.
I want to
their
say
pay.
I did it. It was like 65%.
They'll never admit that,
You know,
but
like,
they don't care.
Like my generation is falling into that category.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Your kids don't live there anymore.
Your kids are
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But okay, they've only been out a couple years.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, like,
why would you move?
Where am I going?
Right. Why would you move?
It's a catch-22. You know, like, once you get there, if you like your house,
why would you move? Right.
Like, what am I going to do? Sell and then go buy a $400,000 condo?
That's the problem.
But if you don't invest in the future,
your
house value is going to drop, and your community overall is going to suffer. The future of your community. But so while you're in your nice grave in Poland, you're going to roll over in your grave because your town's going to go to shit.
But the problem is, what they're saying is they're on a fixed income, right? And they claim false management. Like again, their major fight against school levies are always they're not using the money right. Of course.
See, and here's what I would say though. Okay, that has merit to it, but nobody uses the schools. A small percent of a community, not just Poland.
Right.
Who's in the schools? I mean, 10% of the community.
Yeah, the kids,
kids that go.
Yeah.
And then now with open enrollment, how many people do you know in Poland that go to Ursun or Mooney?
Right. Yeah.
Or go to Logan?
Yeah. Right.
But it doesn't
go
even,
to South Range.
It doesn't even matter. That I don't think those people care what it is. I don't think it
they
matters
just don't
if
want to
it's the
spend
school.
money.
I don't think they care if it's the fire department. They're just going to vote no because they are. And now I understand at the same time because the cost of everything's going up, and they're just, I can't afford it. Well, that's going to create suffering in the future, and I don't think they realize, nor do they care. But
and then you can bring up, like, if you pull up your property and you look at your taxes.
I know, like 7,000, by the way.
But if you look at the breakdown, you just scroll down, you can see the pie chart.
Right.
The library. If you sit around 20 people and say, oh my God, I'm paying 8% to the library. You know how many people go postal and say, I don't even use the library.
Right.
I don't even use the book.
Right.
100%.
Okay. Yeah. What about WRTA? When's the last time you've been on a bus?
Never.
Okay, how many times? When's the last
school bus?
Let me ask you this: when's the last time a dude in South Range
used the WRTA bus?
Township has been on a WRTA.
I've never been.
I mean, these are the things I hear when I go to like township meetings. Like they go crazy. Okay, now let's talk Mill Creek Park.
It's my white privilege. I've never been
Mill Creek Park.
What about Mill Creek Park?
Right.
You got probably about 6% of your taxes go there.
Yeah. I love the park though.
Okay,
I grew up going to the park. I did.
Listen, I do too. Yeah. But 20 guys sitting around,
nobody goes to the park.
Yeah, it's in Youngstown. I don't even go to the park.
No funny.
Why am I paying?
So why do they always pass though? The library always passes. The bus always passes.
I mean, here's the thing:
the people out in Poland grew up with they have it built into their system that they're supposed to like the library.
Right.
It's just part of their culture that they have agreed that we love the library. And it's a beautiful building. It is. But Google is way better.
Yeah. I mean, I think the library is going to, there's going to come a time.
You think it's going to be gone?
It's going to be a little more challenging.
Right.
They're going to have, because let's face it, the one downtown is really nice.
Yeah.
It's a Taj Mahal. One in Poland is, I mean, that's like.
Yeah. Ridiculously nice. Yeah.
Right. Which nothing wrong with it.
Right. You're going to have those empty nesters are going to eventually have to sell to kids my age that are starting a family, and all those people are going to say, hey, we got to juice up the schools, and the libraries, they're going to die.
I mean,
the parks will stay though.
If you look at my house, in my neighborhood, and I've said this before, person on my left, 80 and 78. Awesome people. Person on my right, they might be 85, 87, still working on the yard, still doing all this stuff.
Right.
People across the street, 90-year-old.
10 years, man. 10 years.
Another person across the street, guy just passed, and his wife's still there.
Yeah.
It's like time is ticking.
At some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
They're not going to be able to live there.
You have to realize.
Yeah.
And those people have to realize for the next generation, it benefits you to pass some of these things.
They're not going.
But they won't. Yeah. But it benefits you to pass some of these things to attract good people to your community and keep that community going. But they don't think about that.
Would you move
to Poland? No, I have my grandma's house.
Yeah,
dude, he's done. He's got 5 acres.
And my wife went to South Range.
I know. Let's say like my daughter.
Right.
young family. She's pregnant. She's due in June.
Yeah.
The lady, Miss Farina, great lady. Lived in that house. There is still a lot of people that their inheritance are these houses.
Right.
I think the house on the corner is going for like $700,000.
It's not going
to go, but so what? I mean, people were buying those. If you're 80 years old and you've lived there, it's probably paid off.
Yeah.
Right.
And you bought it for $180,000 back in the day.
Yeah.
And you could, so, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Does it have, the problem is where do you go?
That's
with the market right now.
Yeah. Move into like you said,
talk to, it's
move into a condo.
Yeah. Move into a condo. Those new condos going up right there. Those are like 400, 500,000, right? Yeah. How do you do that?
So you're going to downsize.
Right.
You're going to sell your house in Tuscany or whatever, Timberbrook.
Yep.
You're going to get 400,000. You got no mortgage on it.
Yeah, right.
You're going to go live in a condo on the corner of Western Reserve. And,
right.
Yeah.
And
for 500,000.
You downsize, and what happens is you decide you're going to downsize, but you're then thrown into the same group of people, those first-time home buyers that are competing, that are my age, that are trying to buy a starter home.
Yeah.
The old people win every time because they have cash.
There's no starter homes no more.
Yeah.
There's thing.
Oh, dude. I'm looking for houses right now with a family, 200,000.
And it's nothing.
200,000. You aren't even in the ballpark in Austin Town.
Nowhere.
Boardman.
Nothing.
Like you're
our listing in Austin Town. We had 40 showings over the weekend. It's 189 or 191.5.
You get more than asking for it.
I don't know. We'll see. But
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And even my house. So I bought my house for 285 4 years ago. I think
it's probably
450, 475, 475. It's crazy.
But then, you sell it, you make some money.
Where the hell am I going to go live with my parents?
Right.
Go live on that farm.
Right. Yeah. Can we
put some tiny homes? I got a field for you.
Yeah, let's do a compound.
It's and I lucked out because even when I lived in the city, my daughter became 5 years old. Now this was pre-open enrollment and stuff. So it's like, all right, where do we want to go? And I always liked Poland because I thought it was, I knew a lot of my friends were moving there. So it was getting a little more Poland.
Ritzy,
right.
It was and we got our house on the sheriff's auction.
Wow. See,
we lucked out. My wife wasn't working. I was a teacher making, $30,000.
Right. Wow.
Raising kids. So it was, we were fortunate to get the house. And we had to put a lot of money into it. So at least you were able to get a line of equity.
Yeah.
Because, we were looking at Boardman, 180,000. It was, you had to redo the whole house.
Right.
So, you were still going to put 100,000 into it. And then you'd never get that out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. And I think Poland, I don't know how because your wife's in kindergarten, right?
She's a kindergarten teacher.
How'd the signups go this year?
I think it's down. It's down. I want to say 100. I want to say 100.
And last year they had about 160.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 100 down.
Huh.
They're moving a teacher, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Whoa.
So it's like, it's sick. Whatever.
Yeah. But again, but this is the thing. It all goes back to the house sales.
Yeah.
House sales were down last year across the board. So you don't have new families moving in.
Yeah.
Therefore, we called it the 1 year when it went to 150. Remember, we were arguing with Denopolis about it.
Yeah.
Because he said, it's not going to be high. I said, dude, the market's moving. Houses are moving. You're going to have new family. And it was like 160. It's all about house sales.
Right. Probably back where I live, there's a lot of young families.
Yeah.
Like I'm on 170.
Right.
If you go down Koblenz or Poland Village or back behind Dairy Queen, those are, even though they're 300,000.
Yeah.
That's better than 500,000.
She kidding. Right. You're not kidding.
If you're just a middle-class family,
right,
you can't go get a loan for 400, 500,000.
Right.
There's no way.
You got to probably make $300,000 a year to even get a shit like that.
It's impossible. It's not impossible, but you better have a good job. I think a lot of people, you said your wife didn't work, you worked.
Yeah.
Those days are done.
It's gone.
Gone. Unless you have some freak thing, those days are gone. It's like Maggie's like, I'd like to
20 years.
Right. Maggie's always like, I don't want to teach anymore. I was like, okay, cool. You're gonna go work at freaking Starbucks or something then, because there's just no way.
And then even now, education's falling apart.
Yep.
Like nobody's going into that.
Yep.
I mean, back in the
why
day,
would you go into that?
I see my son-in-law, these consultants.
Yeah.
Making 150, working from home.
Yeah.
Great company, get money to golf, wellness. I'm like, and you want to go be a teacher and make $35,000.
Yeah, you could,
and you don't even know if the retirement will be there.
Right? You couldn't.
I mean, like people talk about like the stock market. It controls STRS. It controls retirements all across the country.
Yeah. Well, your wife's a teacher. I couldn't do it. Like I coach my kids, my kinder, or he's first grade and kindergartners flag football team. I have them an hour for practice and an hour for a game. I'm ready to go crazy. And there's just 10 of them. She has 20 kids in her class. It's could you imagine 25 and 6-year-olds like Ben? Oh, God. Could you imagine? There's no way.
Here's the thing too. Like I've always had high school, the quote, troubled kids.
Yeah, right.
But like, you could swear at them. You could threaten them. 18-year-old. Like, what do you look at like a young kid? I go to my wife's class, 2nd grade. Shut up.
There's no way you can do it.
You have no discipline.
There's no way.
And then you'd say the wrong thing. I mean, you're gonna get a parent.
Oh, and the parents, like with my kids, I am always and always have been. I get a call. I don't get a call from teachers, but if I do, it's what did the little idiot do? I'll talk to him. I'll handle it. He won't do it again. A lot of the parents now, they get a call from the schools. There's a problem. What did you do to my kid? Why did you do this to him? Yeah. What was he reacting to?
Yeah. The change in culture. It changed from go to school and be good to your teachers to go to school and make sure your teachers are good to you.
Right.
That's what the culture shift happened.
Yeah. It's definitely gone post over the
because we grew up like even with me, you grew up and it was so and so down the street could yell at you and say, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah,
you go home and be like, "Man, so Miss so and so yelled at me." It's like, "Yeah, were you being bad?" Yeah, I was being bad. Now it's if anybody yells at your kid down the street, you'll call that person, say, "You yell at my kid? What are you doing?"
Crazy.
So the culture just completely changed.
I know. So Cameron got in trouble last week. I don't know if I told you this. Cameron got in trouble last week.
What did he do?
He pushed a kid or something.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. Again, my middle child. He's like a mini Luke is what he is.
He is a redneck living in Poland.
Yeah, he is. He fishes. He hunts. But he's a big kid.
God, country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Runs around all day in his underwear.
Yeah,
nothing like wearing clothes.
They were playing flag. They were playing football at recess.
Shorts.
Yeah, dude, you're exactly right.
Sandals.
They were playing football at recess, and I guess he got out of hand, and I think he either pushed or punched the kid, not hard in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's 5th grade?
He's in 4th grade.
130-pound 4th grader.
Yes, 5'4". It's huge. So I get a call from Maggie saying he got in trouble. I said, okay, what happened? He's getting in detention. Okay. I'm like, well, what did Cameron say? And Maggie said he was bawling. Okay. Bawling. Yeah. I'm like, why was he bawling? She goes, he wasn't bawling because he got in trouble. He wasn't bawling because he punched somebody. He was bawling because he was genuinely terrified of what I was going to do to him and Maggie was going to do to him. And I was like, I don't know about you. I told Maggie, I was like, that's a win.
Yeah.
Because he knows he messed up. He knows there's going to be repercussions when he gets home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is it. And I don't think a lot of kids care. Like,
no, but that was society.
Yeah.
When we all grew up.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Could you imagine if you got a call?
70s, 80s.
Yeah. Even Isaac, our dad was old school. Could you imagine?
I remember negotiating with teachers to not tell dad.
Yeah.
Like I will do anything. Just don't tell my dad. I will do detention for the next 2 weeks. Please just don't tell my father. And they're like, I'm going to tell you. I'm like, please, I will do community service. Just don't tell my dad. The threat
always was if I did something bad, they're like, we're going to call your dad. I was like, oh my God, please don't. Please don't.
Yeah.
But you know, that's why people don't even want to get involved in politics or school board stuff.
Right? Yeah. Because the parents.
And just, I mean, like in your case,
I
mean, it's a lot on the kids.
Yep.
I mean, like growing up, your dad being mayor.
Yeah. I could only imagine.
Like it was brutal.
I couldn't imagine.
There was a lot of pressure, and I think my brother, he obviously went through some things and passed away from drugs, but growing up during that time, I just talked to cops. I talked at the Mahoning County Mental Health Board. They have like a CIT training for cops, and I just kind of tell our story.
Yeah.
Because it's good for them to see like a white dude,
Right. Yeah.
Parents.
Right. Yeah.
Like no reason. Mom didn't get beat or anything.
Right. Yeah. Just to help.
It could happen, man.
Yeah.
Your kid could get hooked on drugs.
Right.
did you feel like we've dealt with recently West Branch schools, some stuff happened with the school board. It was the whole debacle, but what it boiled down to was school board member's daughter and coach's son supposedly. Do you feel like, as the mayor's son, did your dad, the mayor, hold you to a higher standard? Did he talk to you and say, listen, you were expected to be like this because you have to be better than the average person because it falls on me, it falls on you?
But Jen, you know what ended up happening? I rebelled in a way of like drinking, fighting, gambling. Like, that was my era.
Yeah,
right. That was my. I'm not saying my reputation, but my brother. But I always played sports.
Right.
Yes.
And I was one of those throwback, great high school player.
Yeah.
Stuff to go do anything else.
Right.
It was a high level at Urson at the time. My brother, I don't know. He rebelled maybe a little bit more going down the road of substances.
Right.
But still, in the end of the day, the OxyContin era hit.
Right.
They prescribe you those.
Was he younger?
Hernia.
Was he younger than you?
Yeah, he was younger.
How much younger? What was that difference?
3 years. 3-4 years.
So 90s, which would have hit her. Yeah.
Right.
That was the OxyContin stuff.
He was, it was the 95 era. And, they were passing them out like Tic Tacs. And, he would have still been alive. He would have just, probably just been a drinker. He worked at General Motors.
Yeah.
Right.
Just one of those guys.
Yeah.
But not like a heroin addict.
Right.
That shit just it took a whole generation of people down the spiral. I'm sure you guys grew up with people that
oh my God,
experienced it or died from it.
Right.
So that's kind of become more of my. So I guess rebelling. But one thing my parents always did, I think it was the generation. Man, I treat people good.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I've always been, like, you use the word public servant, like just doing stuff that you don't even get paid for.
Just to help.
Like
just to help.
Like with kids, I get them jobs, buy them shoes.
Yeah.
My whole life.
Right. That's awesome.
So, we were always good people, and it was brutal. And my dad was taking on the real mob back then. So it was like, I got set up a couple times. Like, hey, we're going to go meet at this hotel and party. And party back then to me was, drinking.
Drinking.
We get arrested because, so it was, it was just
get arrested.
It was, but then, you got set up, and my dad would always be like, I told you.
Yeah. Right. They're coming. Yeah. They're going to try.
Times he just said, every time you talk, every time you do something, expect you're being
a higher standard.
And there was no cell phones back then. Like there was a wire or something on your phone.
Thank God there's no cell phones back then.
But even now, who wants to get into this stuff?
Yeah.
I'm on the tail end, but these young kids making this money, what do you want to get into politics for? You get destroyed.
Yeah.
You're videotaped.
They edit the clips to make it look worse.
It's brutal.
Oh, I would never get into politics. Would you ever get into politics?
Absolutely not.
There's no way.
The amount of stuff we've said on this podcast, I couldn't.
No, but
I'm not going to sit here. You'd have to go into the swim. If you ran, you'd have to go. Yes, I said that. Yes, I said that.
Sift through our shit.
Yes,
and find the terrible things that I've said on this podcast.
Yes, I said that.
Just rude me.
Yeah. You know what? You guys, like I said at the start, I wouldn't be on here if you guys were just ragtag. Running your mouth. You talk about things. You do your research.
And we do a lot of good, too. All of our money is given back to the community.
It's a Poland school board member.
They're favorite. Like, hey.
Before you sing anything
negative,
you're live.
We're live.
We got the
Jeff Sabrit's here. Poland school board.
President yet of the school board?
No, trustee Ungaro.
Great guy.
Anything you'd like to say to the people?
Hello, everyone.
Just said hello, everyone.
Very, very, very professional, sir. Very professional.
Have a good day.
Oh, that's so funny. He's just like, oh my God. That was Jeff Sabrit. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what we have in Poland. That's what a lot of communities have. Good people, genuine.
Right.
Raise their kids here.
Yep.
Trying to give back to the community, and that's really all you could do.
We try. I think we do a good.
We grew up with mom and dad who said, "Listen, if you're going to have this platform or whatever you're going to have, just try and do good for people."
Mom always says, use my powers for good, not evil.
Right. Use your powers for good, boys. And we we say stupid stuff and we run our mouths and we joke around a lot, but we do give back all the time. I couldn't calculate how much it is, but we try and give back. We try and help the people who need it. And that's what we've always done. So actions speak louder than words. That's what I'll always say. Yeah. You know,
and that's it. You know, even like when I tell people I'm coming on, I'm like, hey man, you know, they do a good job. Yeah. Like not everybody agree with it. Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to watch.
I don't. And it's like, and that's the thing. I think it's what drives our haters crazy. Yeah, people like Eric come on and talk, and people like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And
why are you giving them the time of day?
Yeah, and it's like you're making them relevant. It's like, I hate to tell you this, we're relevant. Like I'm not being arrogant. We're relevant. People watch us
to some extent. I mean, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're relevant. So
I
sorry.
Look at it like just coming on with a couple guys.
Yeah,
I'm friends.
that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yes, you talk.
That's it.
Wherever it go, I never call and give you an agenda.
Yeah,
I don't care who asks me what. I mean, because
speaking of that, so we've had, who did we have on? What's his name?
Joe, who was the politician we had on?
No,
Catrona.
Yes. We had Catrona on. We have Vidal. Those guys, they want an agenda. They want what we're talking about.
Playing around.
They're not
professionals.
Yeah, and I try not to give them an agenda. And their people are like,
though. I'll tell you what, though. Catrona came on here, down to earth, dude. But at first, it was very much agenda.
Yep.
45 minutes. I got to be out of here in half an hour. I got to go down the street. He got in here and started talking to us. And he's like, okay, these guys are like,
and he stayed a while.
Legitimate questions, and he stayed a full hour.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll get there when I get there. It's no big deal. Yeah. So.
Everybody got an exit plan. Like
he's like, if this turns into well, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
But you know what? Like I am going out to meet Chief Worth and Chief Wilson. They have this new wellness center.
Where
that Clarence Smith donated all that land out in Boardman.
Okay.
It's going to be for first responders.
No way.
It's going to be like a wellness center where they're going to have counseling.
Wow.
And things. So it's going to be a big deal. And I'm going more so because I'm president of the mental health board.
Right.
But then I told Chief, hey, come on out here if it's something we could partner with. And we've always been cutting edge with that.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to have, good board members with me that are into mental health. And,
awesome.
And I always say it, we were the first to train our guys in Narcan.
Yeah.
And people don't realize, you go back to 2012, people weren't jumping up and down to help drug addicts.
Right. Yeah.
Considered trash.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's just one of those things, unless it hits your family.
Yeah. Right.
You're not like overly compassionate.
Right.
But then I think through the years, there's more and more aunts raising kids. We see it in Poland. Your wife sees it. My wife sees it now in a 10-year span. Who's Joey live with? Oh, his grandma.
Yeah.
His mom's dead.
Right.
So it's not
you
not immune.
You can always see, and it's sad, is you can see the kids and the behavior of the kids that have a lot of issues. It's always goes back to the family. They're being torn, you know what I mean? Like single drug, like, you know what I'm saying? Across the board. It is amazing if they don't have something structured at home, there's always a disaster.
Or it goes the other way. They're entitled.
Yeah. Right. Or it goes too far. Right.
Their parents go goofy.
Yep.
You're the best.
Yeah.
That teacher's an idiot.
Yeah. That goes the other way too. Yeah.
A lot of that comes from.
Oh yeah. That's true too.
Like there's parents that have no respect for teachers.
None. Yep.
So then what do you think the kid has?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's like now, like my wife will tell me there's kids that come in and are talking about politics.
Yeah.
Second grade.
Yeah.
But they hear it at home.
Yeah. There's no doubt after raising 3 boys, they suck up exactly what they hear at home.
Exactly.
Because my boys will say stuff that I say in the same tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, wow. Like I went golfing with my 14-year-old yesterday. And he's growing, he's getting older. So we hung out a long time golfing, and I'm just watching him like, dude, he does stuff like you. He does stuff like me. He does stuff like Maggie. And these kids just suck it all up. And that's what they spit out. You know what I mean?
That's why you got to be careful. And that was really one of the things. But see, like, again, 84 to 98, there wasn't all this social media.
Right. Yep.
So I was able to get in a fist fight at McDonald's on the West Side, and
nobody knew it.
Never knew.
Right. Yeah.
But you got arrested. Now, man, like,
dude, that phone's coming up.
I told my daughters, like, even if I'm at home, like, oh, so-and-so's an idiot. Mm-hmm. I go, you can't repeat that.
Right.
And that's where, I mean, you guys got to watch that too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that coach is stupid. That was a dumb play. My dad said you're dumb. Like,
yeah, right. Oh yeah. Yep.
It's off the chains. And when you hear second graders talking about politics,
it's like why?
Like why? The border, they're letting people up. Like, you don't even know what the border's at. Like the border, what? Like the border at Springfield, Poland.
Kellen has a comment. Kellen says, I hate that nowadays I don't know what to tell my kids when it comes to bullies. Used to be someone messes with you and touches you, feel free to end that. If you are defending yourself, then go ahead and hit them back. However, today I fear psycho kids that escalate and bring a weapon.
I mean, there's merit to that, but I mean, I've always been hit them.
Yeah.
I mean, even as I had 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going through that now. And girls is way more mental torture.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet is just so bad. Like 3 girls post a picture. My besties. Oh my God, they're having a party. No, there's 3 people there.
Yeah.
It ain't like a bash.
Yeah.
They didn't invite me and they feel bad.
I say a prayer every day that I'm glad I have 3 boys. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't deal with that. I could not deal with that.
I remember, Kellen, growing up, I had a situation similar to that where a buddy of mine, there was a bully at the school who was strangling a buddy of mine. And I went up to him. It was like 4th grade. Went up to him, punched this kid in the face and said, like, you're hurting my friend, stop. And he didn't, punch him in the face. And then I was terrified, went to the principal's office. I was terrified. Oh my God, my dad's going to beat me. My parents are going to be so pissed at me. Like, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done this. And then they were like, the principal calls my dad. My dad comes in and it was like, no, you helped somebody. I'm not going to get mad at you if you were helping a friend that was in a situation where they were like in danger. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like nowadays, I think that kid still gets suspended. You still get in trouble. You're told, hey, you got to go tell a teacher. Yeah. But I don't know.
The weapons thing, obviously has become more of a topic.
Cool. You guys have heard that story with the kid in Texas or whatever that. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Kid in Texas who at the track meet.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about. No, there was a kid in Texas at a track meet, came and sat under another team's tent. There were 2 twins.
Okay.
One on the team that belonged to the tent. They went up to the kid and there's debate on what's happening. But
I mean, if you're a kid in high school, you're telling a kid, get the hell out of my tent.
Get the hell out of my tent. Goes up to him. He has like a book bag, goes up to him, grabs him and get out of the tent.
Yeah, right.
Kid turns, stabs him in the chest, in the heart.
Oh my God.
Dead. Runs away. The other brother holds him in his
arms. What?
The twin holds him in his arms.
I didn't hear that at all. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the problem is now it's like, Kellen, the sad thing is it's becoming like a race issue. And it's true. Like in the dad, because the kid that was sitting in the tent was black, but the dad is even like, listen, man, the dad of the kid that died is like, listen, man, this isn't a race issue.
It's a kid
this is kids doing stupid stuff.
Right.
And now like the blowback is my kid, the other twin is going to have issues forever. Forever. Yeah, the kid that stabbed him is going to have issues forever. And both of their families for the rest of time are going to have issues. And now we are the news took it, of course, and ran with it and blasting this kid's face.
Made it a race thing, right?
Race issues, race cultures have chosen pick sides, and it's just awful. And the dad went on Fox News and was like, please, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to make this about race, but that's what it's becoming. And it's really, really sad. And now, Kellen, you're sitting at home and you're worried about, is my kid going to get stabbed at the next track meet? And it's like, that's not, you got to go out there and let your kids live their life. And there are bad things in this world, but at the same time, like, there are beautiful things in this world, and you got to let the kids live. You can't raise kids that are scared of everything.
I mean, how many track meets are there? How many things are there?
How often does this happen?
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
And I totally, in that situation, I totally go up to the kid and say, hey, get the hell out of my, get the hell out of my.
You get your ass stabbed too.
Yeah, try to act like a tough guy because you're 17.
You get a fist fight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not stabbed
in the heart.
Yeah. Wow. Right. All right. Totally. So we're almost done here. So what else? Anything else coming up new in the township that we need to know about?
I mean, there's elections this year. There's vote for 2, and then
who's running? So
Wald and Kempers are there.
Okay.
They would be the ones on the ballot.
All right. Is anybody running against them or no?
There'll be a lot of people run, I think.
You think?
Like vote for 2 is a little bit easier than vote for 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're in the one. You're the one.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when I ran, I was like, the only shot I got is like, I got to just go like mono and just try to win. Because then, when you got to vote for 2, people are like, well, I'm really not running against that person, but I'm running against this person.
But the top two get it.
I mean,
yeah. Okay.
I think school board has some races going on.
Who's a school board? Is that Troy in that? No, Troy's gone. I wonder who that is. That's a look.
There'll be a lot of people running for that.
Oh, you know it.
I don't know which two seats are up, but it'll be a big year in Poland.
Stenopolis might be up now.
Yeah, and then sometimes a lot of people they might not run.
Yeah,
you never know. I mean, things change.
No way I'd ever do that.
Like my man Doc, he's been there through really 3.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like me. I've been there through 3 superintendents.
Wow. Yeah, that's coming up, and then I don't know. That's about it. Anything else?
That's about it.
Joe, you got anything?
I appreciate Joe. Joe was when we were out there battling, man, taking everything in the good old days.
Joe's always going to support an independent, 100%. Oh,
you have to, right, Joe? You have to. It doesn't matter.
Boy.
The problem is, though, in Ohio, you get labeled if you just pull a primary ticket. Like it's not. So me, I've everything I went through, I just don't even vote in the primary.
Isaac and I do the same thing. I haven't voted in a primary ever.
Head of the Dems on, and he was like, "You guys are one way or the other, right?" And I'm like, "I have never voted in a primary for that reason, because you're going to come on here and try and label me one way or the other." And it's like you can't. I'm protected.
I mean, they were pulling up stuff from 1999. You had a blue shirt on.
Yep.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, the picture. They had a shirt.
Yeah,
that was.
But if you didn't, right? If you didn't and you weren't, they would have created something else.
Yeah,
they would have come up with something else to just destroy you. Yeah. So it doesn't matter, man.
I refuse. So all right. Well,
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
If you need anything, text me.
Well, when I get your, I'm like your secretary. When somebody complains, I'll let you know. I'll just text you over like, "Hey, man, we got to complain." Hey,
thank you everybody for watching Youngstown Talk Channel. We really appreciate you being here. Like we said before, Youngstown Studio down here. If you want to start your own podcast, contact Joe. Reach out to their Facebook page. Whatever you got to do. You need a home loan. You need a mortgage. Luke and I are both licensed loan officers and licensed real estate agents. We can help you get financed. We can help you buy a house, sell a house, whatever you want to do. That's our bank right there on Luke's head. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, go down below, give us a like, give us a follow Youngstown Studio as well, and have a wonderful day and week. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.